Today we're working on my 2003 Honda Civic. The head gasket blew, unfortunately, when I was 260 miles away from home, so managed to get it back to my shop thanks to AAA. And today we're going to go through and replace the head gasket, as well as, you know, get the head inspected and machined and so forth. And we're also going to do a timing belt job in there because, you know, you need to remove the timing belt in order to get the head off. And it's at 200,000 miles, so, you know, it's worth, it's overdue for a timing belt anyway. So here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is disconnect the negative battery cable. So the next thing we got to do is we need to drain the coolant, so I'm going to remove this radiator cap just to help it drain, and we're going to go underneath and you see this window under here. Well, if we look up in it, you see that this valve right here. We're going to get up in there and we're going to loosen that. Okay. Oh, there we go. We'll just let that drain. Alright, while that's draining, we're going to remove the air resonator box assembly, I guess you would call it. Pull it back here. Here. What are we held in by? There's another bolt. Can you see that? There's another bolt right here. This part goes down. Need an extension to get down there. Oh, another one back here. This guy should come off now. There we go. Let's take off this intake part to help get it out. One of the accelerator cables is in the way. Let's pop that out. Let's see if that gives more clearance. Yep. There we go. Alright, so next we're going to take off this back airbox slash filter assembly. And it looks like it has a bolt right there. Right there. And then in the back there's a little strap. Let's see if I can... You see that bolt right there? We're going to have to loosen that because that's what's holding it onto the throttle body. So we got one here, one here. Those are 10s, by the way. All these bolts so far have been 10s. Except for the battery one. That was a 13. So now we're going to get in the back and loosen that strap. You probably won't be able to see this, slash I'm going to get in the way of the camera, but this is an 8mm. Now, let's see. So now with that loose, let's see if I can pull this off. We got a little, can you see that? Yeah, a little hose right here. That's the valve cover. Let's pull that hose off. And then there's an electrical connector on the side of this. And then that's it. Alright, so now we're at the throttle body. We need to remove the throttle and cruise control cable. So the throttle cable comes up and around here, so we're going to push this down and make some slack on the cable, and that'll allow us to go up in here and pull it out to the side. So there's that one. And then now the cruise control cable is right here, and it's done the same way. We're going to just pull it down and then get in here. I'm going to be blocking the camera, but same principle. Pull it down and then get some slack and then pull it out to the side. So now we need to remove the cables off of their little brackets here. So there's a nut on each side. We're just going to crack loose. And then with those nuts cracked, we should be able to pull the cables up and out. Let's try this one. Let's loosen it a little more. Yep. There's one. To the side. Take care not to kink these cables in any way. There we go. So now there are these brackets holding those cables on. So let's pop these out. So now let's pull these cables through and off to the side where we won't get in the way. Loosen these guys. Allow us to take that off. We have two 10s holding these ignition wires in. Let's unplug these coils. Alright, now we have to remove all these electrical connectors to the idle air control valve and throttle position sensor and, you know, all that jazz. It's like a little zip tie thing. Let's just pop that out. Here's another one. Alright, we got one wire going down to something I can't quite figure out, so deal with that later. More connectors over here. EGR. And I think this is a coolant temp sensor. So what I want to do is just move this out of the way. Oops. That way I can thread these nuts on and not have to keep track of them. Same thing with these bolts that held in this harness assembly. Okay, so off camera, because it was tight, I removed the brake booster line. Let's see if you can. Yeah, you see that? It was on there in the back of the throttle body. It was kind of annoying to get in there with a. I went in there with a pair of small needle nose pliers to get that clamp off. Surprised it went so well. And then I removed this PCV hose right here. Alright, so I forgot to relieve the fuel pressure. So I'm gonna have to just move this line. Whoa! Hold on. Alright, so let's see how this goes. Not bad. Not bad at all. Caught it all with the rag. There we go. Next we're going to move this evap canister hose. Come on. There. Okay, next we got this smorgasbord of hoses to remove. So we have the upper radiator first. We just gotta twist it to break that seal. There we go. Twist. We have another hose down there, the lower radiator hose. Come on. Oh! There goes my light. This guy's acting funny, so the clamp is like stuck. So I'm just hitting it down with a screwdriver. There we go. See if I can get this off now. There we go. Okay, we got this ground. That's a 10. Move that. Back in. So now we got another hose over here. Break that seal by twisting it, and then it should come off. There we go. And we have another hose right here. Uh-oh. So now we have this heater pipe here, and behind it there is a 10 millimeter. You can reach in here and get that holds this pipe on. Now we should be able to pull this out. Yep. There she goes. Alright. Alrighty, the next step is to remove the power steering pump without removing the line. So first we have this little adjusting mechanism. Get that out of there. Just gotta thread that back in so I don't lose it. Then we're gonna take this guy out of there. This may be rusty. This isn't rusty for me because I had this apart relatively recently to do the alternator. We got a 12 on this side. Actually, it might be an 11. Nope. I'm just gonna hold the nut and then spin the bolt out. So So we're going to pull up on the reservoir. Let's get that out of the little holder there. And then we're going to reach down in and we're just going to loosen that mounting bolt. Got one of my gear wrenches in there. Makes things really easy. Now I can just pull it up to help me get at it more. First, let's take that belt off. So now I should be able to get at that bolt easier with my hand. Or nut, rather. There's a through bolt going into the other side. So here's the nut, and then we're going to just there she is. And we're going to put that off to the side. Get this through bolt here. And then I'm just going to put this with the nut in the power steering pump. So I don't have to keep track of it. Again, to make my life easier, I'm going to put this back where it goes so I don't even have to think about it. So now we need to remove the alternator, so we're going to go underneath. There's a little splash shield here that's held on by, you know, just a couple of these little plastic tabs that you got to pull out. So that right there, that's the what you use to tighten down to lock it when you're adjusting the tension. Hold on, guys. So before you take out the alternator top bolt, you need to remove this bracket for the power steering reservoir. This is a 12mm. And then we're just going to loosen this top one, and it should have enough clearance to come out. Alright, we're going to loosen this top bolt. So now, I'm going to go in here, you see this wing nut? You're going to loosen that. Now this may be pretty corroded and rusted when you get to it, and then if that's the case, you need to go underneath and remove the whole tensioning mechanism, and then you can get the belt off, and then you can clean these threads up. Again, I just did the alternator relatively recently, so this wasn't too bad in terms of being all seized up. So now, as we loosen that, I can take the belt off. Alright, so now this top bolt comes out just enough for the alternator to be slid out of there. Just enough. And then, well, hold on. Gotta finish removing this other bolt down here. The one that we loosened earlier. Bottom bolt. And now this guy should lift right out. As soon as we disconnect the electrical connectors. This connector, take out this boot. This connector right here, and then we have this guy. This should be held in by a nut, 10mm, and then it's clipped onto this. All you have to do is just pull down and pull up on this tab, and then pull it off. There we go. I'm just going to thread this nut back on. Alright, now we have some 10s holding in these brackets. Another one up here. There we go. I'm just going to thread these back in. And this was just to make it so that these hoses and AC lines aren't connected to the engine in any way. We're going to see if we can take this wiring harness out of the way. So I have a jack with a block of wood holding up underneath the oil pan, and we're going to just take off these engine mounting nuts. Too. So we should be able to lift this off. There we go. Let's thread this back on so we don't lose it. Same with these guys. Alright, we're going to take out these coils next. Alright, take out this valve cover now. It's just a bunch of tens holding it in. There's a little bracket over here blocking it the last couple millimeters. Take the dipstick out. Alright, so now we're taking off the upper timing cover. There's a bolt right there where that hole is, and then there's another one on the other side. However, I'm having issues because it appears that my cover is broken. So yeah, this little insert here was just kept spinning, so I had to just hold it with a pair of vice grips, and I'm going to get that bolt out, and then this cover should come out. Alright, there was another bolt down there in the middle, so now this should come off. There we go. Okay, the moment has come. Can we remove this crank bolt without the special tool? So, I'm trying to get this harness out of the way. You know, I unplugged all the fuel injectors, and then there were some more connectors over here. There was a ground right here. But it's being a little fiddly. You know, there's wires going down on that side, and then it's connected over here. So, the only thing left to do is remove the exhaust manifold, intake manifold, and the timing belt. And then we'll be good to go.